Hello.
Hello.
So I'm here with Miss Jolee, and I don't know what your last name is.
Oh,
but
well, there's the last one of three, so it's Newman now.
And she's going to read us her story. It's kind of like in a poem format, and I'm going to ask her some questions about it, and we're going to go from there.
All right, let's get my eyeballs. Okay, and of course, we love my phone. Okay. With the stoic air of her ancestors, she closed the door, alone. Nothing but the faint sounds of joyous memories fading slowly into the background, giving way for the roaring engine of grief to come raging through. The emptiness was almost crippling her physically. She leaned forward, resting her forehead on the door to her past. That door, behind it, held all of her sense of self and strength. The weight of what was actually happening pulls an almost animal-like groan from her soul. A moment passes. For her, she felt as if she had been standing there for 36 years. The last person in her world that had loved, enjoyed, and unconditionally supported her had gone. The last tether of safety and solvency vanished. In a moment so fast it made her dizzy. A dull urge pushed in her. She found the will to lift her head, look at the door. She wistfully laid her hand in the center as she turned and looked and took the hardest step she'd ever taken. Her fingers dropped one by one, each disconnect with her past, somehow filling her with strength. With each step that took her farther away, it also was a step toward discovering her own bravery. With each footstep, her head started to raise. With every inch she moved into an unknown space in her existence, her back straightened, her shoulders straightened. As she drove away from everything she ever knew, she realized she was a survivor. She was a warrior. She was alone, but she would be okay.
That is beautiful.
Thank you.
You posted that on Facebook, and I read it, and I was like, that's amazing. I'd like you to come in and read it. Can you explain us more about what that poem is about?
So, first I'll start with why I wrote it the way I did. As instead of a narrative, I just wanted to kind of look at it from watching me go through it, because that was easier than reliving it. So my mother passed when she was 52, and I was only 22. And then when my father passed away, it was very suddenly. My mother died of a brain tumor, so that was kind of long, and we knew it was coming. My dad just dropped dead of a heart attack, and it was jarring, to say the least. And so we had to fly back. Me and my sister flew back to Wyoming to go through the memorial. And basically, you have to, when your last parent dies, you have to clean up everything from the past. And we had to give away a lot of stuff and figure out donations. And I mean, it was a lot of busy work as well. But we tried to have fun with it because we're a weird group like that. But my sister ended up leaving early. And so I was there by myself for the last day and a half. So I was the last one to shut the door to my past. So I watched all of my past, my world, just drive away on the trailer of a truck. It was very, I don't know how to describe it. It was, I felt like my soul was just getting just slowly pulled away, like something you just can't touch anymore. And I knew that it was just going to be a completely different world for me after that. My parents were they were the solid strength behind who I was. And I didn't know how to be anybody but their daughter. It was hard for me to grow and be a wife and a mother. It was very hard for me to disconnect and try to be my own person because I was such their kid. And we were just, they didn't coddle me or anything like that, but they were just great parents. And they were very supportive with everything. I mean, it was always, you're great, you're doing good, they were always just, there was never any negativity from the household that I came from. So it was very hard to be kind of left alone standing. I felt like I was just kind of left alone just standing there, not really knowing how to take the real world because the real world's mean.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very mean. And there's people that say they like you and they don't, and there's people that say they support you and they don't, and more people lie than tell the truth, and there's no rhyme or reason for it. So I guess in a way I was sheltered just because they were so supportive that I never really had to worry about the outside influences because I just would reach into my inner core, my folks, and that was what kept me breathing. And then it was kind of hard to catch my breath after that. So there was no way to really write that story from my perspective. I had to kind of look down on it because I didn't want it to be 18 pages.
Yeah.
Because it was seriously just a moment in time. And so how do you put a moment in time into so many words without it reading like a, I don't know, Wikipedia entry? So that was that.
So I really feel for you because I couldn't imagine. I'm blessed that I still have both my parents and they are the world to me too. I actually have lunch with my dad every week, and my mom moved in with me to help take care of my son.
Oh, that's nice. I know she moved in.
So just the thought of you having to lose both of your parents at a fairly young age as well.
And my sister was in Texas, so I mean, the orphan thing really hit me. I was like, I knew when I shut that door that I was alone on the planet is what it felt like. And I have children and my sister and her husband, but it was just gut-wrenchingly obvious that I had to be a grown-up, and I still didn't do it well.
Yeah.
At all.
I know what
At
you
all.
mean.
I mean, I basically just careened downward into the rabbit hole for like 7 years. When my father died, he'd actually paid for me to go to CCNN to get a medical assisting degree, and I was doing really well. I mean, I had no idea I was that smart because I don't know, when I was going to school, I got good grades ish. You know what I mean? I graduated, but I was getting a 4.0, and my dad was really proud of me, and I was on my way, and then my dad died, and I kind of lost my way, and I met the wrong guy and crawled into a Jack Daniels bottle with him and hid there in a pretty desperate, odd place for a very long time.
And then you also said that you struggle with bipolar disorder. How did that contribute to the pain and the agony and everything else that you were going through?
The way that my bipolar works is that it almost kicks in when I don't want it to, but I get hypomanic, which means that I don't do the whole ebb and flow where it's like depression and then mania. I mean, I cycle so fast, it's like I go into mania and then I go into hypomania, and that I can stay there for a while. And especially when my emotions are raw and I'm hurt. Yeah. And it just kind of takes over. So hence the bad decision with the wrong guy, and the relation, and getting married at a chapel with nobody around, and I mean, buying my own wedding ring at a pawn shop, and basically pissing away my dad's entire $250,000 that he had worked his lifetime for to leave me and my sister. I couldn't. It was blood money to me. I didn't want it. I guess I could look back on it now and think that, but I mean, he worked his entire life for that money to be able to leave us something, and I spent it as fast as I could, like it was a mission. And I couldn't see it when I was in it at all. I lived in an apartment that was way too much money. I didn't work for a while, and I spent a lot of money on him. I bought him a new truck, and I got him a new lift kit and tires, and I just was lost. I just felt like I was just running on this hamster wheel, but it was like, it really wasn't there. I was running, I didn't even know, I don't know, it was just a very odd place to be. And so, but the mania would take over, and it was just like days and days and days that I could go out and just drink and drink and drink and drink, because it felt better to be in a crowd of people that were accepting of whatever kind of behavior you're going to do. I mean, that's why kind of sometimes people are thought to be maybe alcoholics, but when you're in that manic state, you have to have kind of commotion around you to actually feel at peace. And of course, every bad decision can find a friend, so you can usually find those at the bar.
Yeah.
And so it was easier for me just to go hang out in the bar and deal with the commotion. And when you walk in, everybody's happy to see you. Nobody's going to say, hey, isn't it your daughter's picture day today? Shouldn't you go home and do her hair? And no, I was just playing pool. I just was in this, I would always get in this zone where it was just feast, not feast or famine. It was just feast. And I thought I was doing okay because I didn't drive. I didn't take guys home. I mean, I didn't do the obvious things that people in a manic state are supposed to do. I spent money ridiculously, but on big things, like stuff I couldn't afford. I shouldn't afford a new truck, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I went out and just bought things or went crazy online. I was never really a shopper, but I wasted money, and I thought I was doing okay because I didn't take guys home every day. You know what I mean? I wasn't like a major slut.
Yeah.
I just hid in the darkness of the bar and the neon lights, and it just became a safe place, which was not safe. And it was just, you think you're making all the right decisions when you're in that zone. And I had friends trying to tell me, you're not doing well, you're not okay, you're acting weird or whatever. And it was just, you get all your chin out, you're like, I'm fine. Nobody can tell you anything when you're in that mode. And honestly, the only time that you ever realize it is when it's almost like there's a calm in the storm, and you kind of wake up, and it seems like the kind of like a fog lifts, and you kind of just look around really slowly, and you look behind you, and it's almost like Gettysburg with all the gravestones and the fog, and you can just see all of the destruction of the people and their feelings and their caring for you that you've done because you're just in this state of mind where you don't even know what the hell you're doing. So that's kind of where I was for a very long time after my dad. I mean, it was there before, but it just kind of went crazy after my dad died. So, I mean, it was just, I didn't know I was in it until I was really, really in it.
Yeah, that's happened to me a couple times. And
Yeah.
you wake up and find yourself in a situation you have no idea how you got
Well,
there.
it's almost like you look at things that you've done, and it's like, who was that person? I actually found a journal not too long ago of actually before my father passed, but after my mom had passed. And I was reading this journal, and I was like, my heart broke for her. And that's kind of how I felt about it, because it did not seem to me like that was me. I had a connection with it, but it wasn't. I mean, she was so in pain, and so incredibly unhappy when she wrote. And I knew that I even talked about it, that like it's not me, but
Yeah.
it was just very eye-opening, because it was like I was reading about somebody else. It was very, very strange, because you kind of do get out of your norm. I mean, you're not yourself when you're in that mode. And it's so hard for the people around you to understand when you're in it, because you don't know you're in it.
Yeah, they
You'll
can't.
fight to the death to say you're not in it.
Yeah.
But then, because there's no bruises, there's no doctors, there's no IVs, there's no surgeons, there's no casts,
They
there's
can't
no
see it.
braces. They
It's on the
can't
inside.
see it. And
You can't see in
Yeah.
like inner pain sometimes.
no,
Mm.
and when your soul is screaming inside of that hard cast bubble that you have, nobody can hear it. It's like that dream that you have when you're screaming and nobody can hear you.
Oh yeah, I have a painting like that.
Yes.
Right over there on the
Yeah,
wall.
you do. It's like that, but you're living it, breathing it. I mean, it's real, and your soul is screaming. I hurt so bad, and nobody can hear it, and you don't even realize that that's what's happening, because that really weird Teflon, crazy hypo, I could jump off of a tall building in a single bound kind of thing takes over, and and sometimes you're fun, and I mean sometimes you're crazy and angry and weird, but I mean most of the time I was always like fun. Everyone was happy to see me, and they didn't want to worry about. I didn't have to worry about people going, oh shit, here comes crazy.
Yeah.
I mean it was always like, hey, Jolee's here. She didn't get a little nutty, So that behavior was accepted because people liked it, but I always made sure I hung out with people that liked the crazy and not. I mean, my family hated the crazy. But when you're trying to survive and your soul is trying to not tell you that you don't belong here, you want to it's almost like a magnet to the people that will accept you unconditionally, whatever. I mean, they're not accepting you and loving you unconditionally. They're just like I said, every bad decision could find a friend.
Yeah, seriously.
So they want to hang out with like kind. So.
Hi, I'm back again. It's Candice Liberty, and I'm here with JoJo. We're here to reveal her painting to her. Do you want to go over like a little brief of?
Yeah, I mean that's fine. I really don't. I mean, I remember what it was about. I don't remember exactly what it said, and I.
Kind of where we left off.
Yeah. So I mean, and it was about when my father died, and my sister had gone back to her family because she had a little baby and stuff like that, and I was there by myself, and I had to shut the door on the apartment, and my whole life, basically, everything that I knew. I can't look at you.
I know it's hard because the painting's right there.
Yeah, but yeah, it was a very telling point in my life because it taught me a lot about myself, and that I was stronger than I thought I would be ever. That you'd think that something that might kill you actually doesn't.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. So I remembered when we originally did the story, you told me it felt like. Can I just go ahead and grab it whenever and show it to her? So originally when we did the story, you told me it felt like you were falling down like through a rabbit hole, like everything was just.
Yeah.
You know, and so I did this painting right here for you. Of a woman falling through a rabbit hole.
Oh my God, I see the picture.
And there's a picture of you and your parents falling as well.
Wow, that's amazing.
So I did this for you, and I hope that you like it. She's got a little mom and dad tattoo. But wow. Yeah, this was especially for you, and I needed to add a little personal touch, so I did the little painting falling down with you and your parents in there, and there it is.
That's awesome.
So that's my way to give back to people. I do all the paintings for myself, and I want to paint other people's stories for them. And so it kind of helps heal really cool. And stuff.
Yeah. That was really cool.
Yeah, so that's for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I love you.
I love you too.
So that was the reveal, and there's the painting.
I love it.
I guess we should title it. But
what would we title that? Falling Up?
I like that.
Falling Up? I like that too.
Okay. That's a good one. Got little shoes or painting.
I like her anchor.
Yeah, a little anchor on her ankle. So.
Awesome.
Right, well,
Falling Up. I like it.
There it is.